Oh, crap.
This is funny because this is a topic I did a while back. If people look up Lethal Weapon 5 on YouTube, one of my videos that I did months ago, I did a really good thumbnail with an old Mel Gibson and an old Danny Glover, and it's managed to work because I'm here with Jody. We're here on Change My Mind Live, but this is a story that I did. It's a tip to all of you out there. Sometimes it's good to try and get a subject quick before everyone else does, and then the algorithm will favor you later, and then suddenly you see, oh, crap, I got 100,000 views on a video I did months ago later, and that topic was Lethal Weapon 5. There was a quote back then when I think it was earlier this year in January where they did a studio roundtable of like the studio execs all got together.
I saw that.
I think it was that one. It was one. Anyway, studio execs got together.
Hollywood.
One of those. It was one of those super chat tables where all these people got together.
Hollywood Reporter,
and one of the guys was like, "Oh, we're making Lethal Weapon 5. It's happening. We're so excited to bring the gang back together." Well, Lethal Weapon 5. Now, Mel Gibson was on Good Morning America this morning and verified again. Lethal Weapon 5 is absolutely happening. Apparently, it's going to be called Lethal Finale, and it's absolutely the way it confirms Mel Gibson, who says Richard Donner, the man, he's like 90 now. He's back, hard at work on the action sequel. So there have been 4 other, obviously, Lethal Weapons. It's been 22 years since the last one. And as I reported, Jody, after 4, they had kids, right? So those kids are now adults. So there's no reason you couldn't bring them back and then cast some cool new people to be a new, the next.
Bring Chris Rock back, too. Remember, he was the
son-in-law. Well, Chris Rock's kid in the movie would now be an adult, would be 21 is my point. So you have Chris Rock show up with the kid. I guess it was Rene Russo had a kid too, right? Didn't Chris Rock and Rene?
She was pregnant.
Rene Russo
had the baby.
Right.
She had the baby.
Riggs had it, and then Chris Rock had one. They both, I think, had kids. So you got 2 kids there that have grown up. One of them had to become a cop, and so you got a movie there, and you got Danny Glover, Mel Gibson's back. But yeah, in the interview with GMA, he said, absolutely, the man who was behind it all, the man who brought it to the screen and gave it the goodies, is working on it right now. Richard Donner, he's a legend. 90 years old. He helmed all the first 4 movies. Shows no signs of stopping. Producer Dan Lin, that's what I quoted earlier, gave an update earlier this year as well, where he said at the Hollywood Reporter Roundtable that we're trying to make the last Lethal Weapon movie, and Dick Donner's coming back, the original cast coming back. It's just amazing. The story is very personal to Mel and Danny are ready to go. So it's all about the script. What's amusing is Glover, as a police officer, is set to retire at 87. I'm too old for this shit, but yeah, this will be a very, very long retirement. But yeah, the title was Lethal Finale, as previously revealed by Donner, and there was that TV show that lasted 3 seasons with Damon Wayans and Clayne Crawford. I never watched it before Gibson's Riggs was killed off at the end of season. Shockingly, his version of Gibson's Riggs was killed off at the season 2 before the show canceled the season later. I didn't watch any of it. Did you watch the show?
No.
Yeah, I didn't care. I thought, how could a Fox TV version of Lethal Weapon be any interesting?
Look at that picture. It looks terrible.
It looks so. This is the problem with network TV. Why on earth would I watch that? Now, if this was on HBO Max,
mustache. What the freak?
If this was on like HBO Max and it was like R-rated, like true Lethal Weapon, like action and stuff. You know what? Maybe I would have tuned into that. That could have been interesting. But I want to watch this on Fox with like old Damon Wayans, who's clearly given up, and some white dude, I don't even know who the hell this guy is, playing Mel Gibson. Pass. But that's made it for 3 seasons. But anyway, Jody, I know you're a Mel Gibson fan.
Yes, I am.
I know you're a Lethal Weapon fan like me.
Yes, I am.
Lethal Weapon 5. What would you want to? Do you want to see that? And what would you want to see in Lethal Weapon 5?
Do I want to see? Yeah. Life would be complete if I see this movie. Shout out to Mel Gibson for being iconic, my dude. Sure, he said some things in the past, but people change, man. Man, I'm so happy, man. Lethal Weapon 5. My mind's Chris Rock got to come back. Donald Glover's back. Richard Donner's back. What the heck? This is a cum shot. So let me say, their oldest dirt, like Riggs was the young one. Murtaugh has been old since the 60s. So, Danny Glover, I mean. So he's going to be really old. So I think I could see them being retired. They should both be retired. And then, like you said, their kids, cops. Because I know Lieutenant Murtaugh, Danny Glover's character, he had in Lethal Weapon 2, or was it 3, where his son was getting involved in gangs. So he has an older son as well. So he has a son who he was about 14 back then. So he could probably be somebody of about 36, 37 years old now. So both of them having kids who are cops, and then something happening to them to where it's going to take the legends to come out of retirement in order to save their children, or maybe even save their children's children. Maybe they work with their children to save their grandchildren. A lot of different angles that you could do here. Bad Boys kind of did it with Bad Boys 3 a little bit, showing the next generation how, Marcus wanted to retire because he said he saw his grandbaby, he wanted to change his life. It's going to show these old fools get back into it, bro. Mel Gibson. Somebody got smoked out there.
Is that what I heard? Yeah, lethal weapons happening out. Lethal finales happening outside Jody's house.
Hey, bro, I still live in the hood. I'm trying to get my family out.
People who don't get it, he really does. There's the evidence.
I'm in the hood. So yeah, shout out to Lethal Weapon. Hey, this will be fire. Mel Gibson's back. I love Mel Gibson. He's a great actor. It's gonna feel. Oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna get Joe Pesci back. Because
yeah, David March just said, bring Joe Pesci back, drags them into the crap.
Yeah, because I don't think if you get Joe Pesci, now you're talking because they had to Scorsese had to beg Joe Pesci to come back for The Irishman.
Yeah,
and
he's
not
see
Joe Pesci.
No
I don't
way.
Think he's coming back.
No way.
I don't think he's coming
well,
back.
I was gonna say just so we can fully get let's just to go back to reality a little bit. Look how old these guys are. No, I mean everyone old ages. It is what it is, but. I mean, the beard, everything. This is the fat man right here. The fat man beard, I guess. But, I mean, all right. I guess Mel he'd have to shave.
He's still in good shape, though, too.
Yeah, he all right.
I just seen him in a Netflix movie where he was playing a tough guy, action guy.
Here's Danny Glover. I mean.
Yeah, he's done.
I love you, man, but this guy is elderly. And a legend, no disrespect whatsoever. Yes, here he is. He does a lot of political stuff nowadays. But yeah, I mean, I don't see how you get these.
Did you have to pull up a picture of him sitting in he in a wheelchair, bro?
I mean,
you got something better.
I
than
looked
that
up Danny Glover 2020, and that's what showed up. My point being, man. I try to look up what are they today? Here we go. So I zoomed in from, but these two together, it's just so weird. And then you add Joe Pesci to the mix, and it's just I don't know. Do you really want to see this movie? Is that what you?
Yes, bro. You have Richard Donner come back. It's gonna be crafted in the story.
Grumpy old men, right? Is what it is.
It will make sense. Yeah, sure, that'll work.
But Jody, is there a point where they are too old for this shit? You know what I mean?
They've been too old. Yeah, they were too old.
They're literally too old for this shit.
Yeah. When they were too old when they could barely lift that stone rock when freaking Riggs was down underwater breathing water for some. Will it to me, Riggs? You're going to be a father, Riggs. You're going to be a father. I hear you, Riggs. I'm coming. When he jumped into that water and his body was just stale looking, I said, God dang, this fool look old as shit. And I thought that was it. And that why can't we be friends? Yeah. Why can't we? No, we're a family. It was a perfect ending to know that they're coming back, which means they feel like they could come back, bro. It's fire. Just to see him again. Chris Rock could be up in this thing. And I feel like the other supporting characters who are now further in their careers could step up and take some of the load from Danny Glover. Because I still think Mel Gibson is going to go out there doing some nice action scenes, bro. I really do. And you can do some amazing things with body doubles these days for Danny Glover.
Well, so just to because you brought it up, but yeah, so Chris Rock and his daughter met with Chris Rock, they had a baby, and there you had Joe Pesci back then, and then Rene Russo had a baby. So you got two babies that were born right then and there. That was 22 years ago. So I mean, how do you ignore that? So how do you do this? Cops. How do you do exactly? You got to have one of them. Someone was it David? Someone pitched. I meant to go back. No, it was Michael Carey too. Since Glover is too old, you can have his son team up with Mel to find Glover's killer. I think that's if you were to kill off Danny Glover somehow in the beginning, and then you got the son sort of teaming up with Gibbs, bringing him back, whatever, to try and find to do that. It's dark, but that's one way you do it. Because I don't know how you do. Look, he's too old, man. He's too old for this shit.
If you gotta kill one, you don't kill him. That's sad. He was always the family man. Murtaugh was the dad. He was the Bill Cosby. He was the family man. Riggs was the daredevil who always risked his life. He wanted death. To kill Danny Glover's character would hurt.
Dude, this isn't like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence doing one last run. These guys are not in the shape to go be doing what that movie requires. I don't say that. I want to watch it, but there's a little bit of like, are we sure we really want to watch that? Is that actually? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to see them as cops doing the action stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem.
I don't think that we're going to see them doing the action stuff like they did in Lethal Weapon 4. I believe it's going to be the children who are adults now doing most of that. And then Merton Riggs being the experts, the ones who use their seasoned veteranism to get the edge, to show these young kids how to, be old. We are too old for this shit, Riggs. Yeah, we're too old. Yeah, you're right. Riggs, oh, you giving me that look again? What? I'm not giving you a look. You giving me a look. What are you saying? All right, let's go help him. Bro, sign me up. Sign me up. It's the banter. It's the love. This is like maybe this is a ending wish for Danny Glover and Richard Donner. Maybe this is something that they want on their they have this on their bucket list. Oh, he's old.
I was just trying to. You said I was being mean by finding him not stand. Now here he is standing.
Yeah.
Dude, no, I'm not trying to disrespect this legend by one iota. You know what I'm saying? I would watch this dude act in anything, but Lethal Weapon is like, these guys aren't lethal weapons anymore. They're lethal, in old age. But I don't know how you do. You can't have him do like a crazy action scene. He's just not gonna be able to do it. I don't know if he's going to want to do it. So if they can figure out some way to bring him back in a respectful way that lets them have sort of some fun moments, but then they're clearly going to have to let the younger, the kids or somebody else do the heavy lifting. But yeah, it's weird. I remember back when Screen Junkies, we were going years ago, we had this guy who ended up being a huge douchebag, so I don't give him credit, but he came on the show to pitch the old, like, what does he want for the Star Wars sequel? And I remember he pitched this idea where he's like, I want them all back. I want Han back, Luke. I want them all on the ship. One last mission. Give it to me again. All of it. And I remember at the time we did that episode, and I remember Hal was there watching it, and I literally had to like pause the taping of the show, and I'm like, are you serious? You're not doing this like ironically? You really want to see like old Han and Luke and everybody come back and not new characters? He's like, no, absolutely. So we readjusted the show to like be a versus where do you want it? And we ended up fighting it. And it was just ironic because then, years later we got the sequels. And as I watched the sequels, it was the new characters, and the new characters sucked. And the reality was, I'm just like, how come they didn't just do one damn scene with Luke, Han, and Leia together, one last chance, doing something together to like really unite those heroes? And you realize he was right. That guy was right. While I didn't want the whole movie to be that, it was so sad to see that movie come together, Force Awakens style, and then not have Luke there. And then sadly, Leia died by the time they finally got their shit together and were trying to bring them together. But then Han was already dead. It was just such a missed opportunity to not have those people do some sort of fun moment in Force Awakens. So I got to say, like, whether it would have been fan service or overly nostalgia or member berries or whatever the hell it is so sad we didn't get one last scene with those three icons in a movie. Just a part, even just a scene at the bridge of like trying to get the war together, and they have a little shot at each other, and then they go off, and then we know that's it. Like, just why did JJ not give us that?
Because he's an idiot.
Oh, he's so dumb. Like, he's gonna have to take that to the grave. He had every opportunity in the world to give us that moment, and he just killed off Han and didn't give it to us, and left Luke be a hermit. Oh, it's so maddening. But anyway, you're right. You feel that
hate for the Star Wars? Yeah.
Do it.
God, do it. Let the hate.
God, the sequels are so much worse than anything else they've done. I never thought I would be in love with the prequels after the sequels. The sequels are such hot garbage. It's not funny. And it's funny. I showed my kid. I finally showed my son. Total tangent. Sorry, bear with us. I finally sat and forced my son to watch Empire Strikes Back. I watched him. I made him watch Star Wars again and made him watch Empire Strikes Back. I have literally protected my 8-year-old for 8 years to not have that moment be spoiled. And somehow I made it through, and my son got to have a pure moment of, what? That's his dad? And it was so much fun and joy. He still didn't really care. He still doesn't like Star Wars. But even Empire, I saw for the first time, he's like, all right, that one was better, Dad. I agree. That was a better movie. And so it's like, so anyway, a point being like, those stories, they're so good. And then after I finished Empire with my son, I realized, like, for my 8-year-old, I'm like, you know what? It would be probably wiser to go back and watch the prequels next. Watch 1, 2, 3, and then show them Jedi. Because they still don't even know Luke and Leia are siblings. And so I'm like, what a more interesting way to then, once you've learned that twist, go back and watch how they got there, and then give them the finale of Jedi, and then be like, yep, that's how Star Wars ended. It's over. BB-8 was just a toy they brought later. There's no movies. Don't just ignore them. But who knows? But anyway, my point is, bringing this all up on the Star Wars detour, yeah, I would want to see a last hurrah. I want to see a last hurrah of Danny Glover and Mel Gibson in their Millennium Falcon doing the I'm too old for that. We really are. You got to have the look of, we're really too old for this shit. And of course, they're doing one last hurrah and then bowing out gracefully into the sunset, knowing their kids can either keep the franchise going or not, whatever the fuck they decide to do. But you're right. I need to see them together in one last little moment.
This movie could bring out the waterworks, bro. I could come into this movie crying like a motherfucker walking out. It could be one of those type of situations that they go for. And Richard Donner, he knows how to pull on those heartstrings. He really made them this universe. He made them feel like a family. And there's another thing that I want to say. I still have Lethal Weapon as the greatest action franchise of all time. I almost gave it to Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible, but this is still my #1 action franchise of all time. And I'm glad that I stuck by it.
I got to go Die Hard. I got it. Die Hard 1 and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh, no.
Die Hard 1, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Too many bad ones.
I disregard them.
Live Free or Die Hard.
Die Hard 2 is Die Hard 2 is fun. Die Hard 1's the best. Die Hard 2 is fun. Die Hard 3 is even better. And then you got Die Hard 4 and 5, and I just disregard them. But that's 3 Die Hard. Nah, 4 is nostalgic fun. The first 3 are good, but my argument would be Die Hard surpasses all the Lethal Weapons. Easily. Die Hard is a 10 times better film than any of the Lethal Weapons.
Oh, you put too much flavor on those.
No. Die Hard 1 is the best action film of all time, without a doubt. There's no doubt.
Lethal Weapon revolutionized black and white.
Lethal Weapon is great. Dude, I love Lethal Weapon. Well, no, 48 Hours happened before that. Like, it had been done.
No, this
Midnight Run. I mean, my point is there have been a lot of buddy cop movies.
Die
Hard.
They want to do that Green Lantern with the 2 Green Lanterns. They wanted to make it a buddy cop Lethal Weapon each time because Lethal Weapon is the standard. Die Hard. If it was only 3 Die Hards, I would have to agree. Those last 2 ones, bro, you can't erase those.
Yeah, you can. Just like you erase the sequels. Just erase the Star Wars sequels. Erase 4 and 5. Die Hard is a trilogy with John McClane. Anytime when John McClane loses his hair, those are non-canon. Get him out of my DVD set. All right, well, I'm trimming this for later because that was a good conversation. There we go. What do you think? Do you want to see the gang back for one more hurrah, or are they too old for this?
They've been too old for 30 years.
They're definitely too old for this now. What do you think? Tell me down in the comments below. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. We got lots more for you. Always catch us live every Thursday and Tuesday. Check out Jody's Corner over on Popcorn Planet. Deuces.
Peace.
How do I? Oh, good. It's still there. Don't leave. We're not.